Okay, here we are, TEAL Shirt Report podcast. A lot of things going on, but we're going to try to somehow, if we can, make it a quick podcast here on the TEAL Shirt Report podcast, episode show number 37. I think Cornell Lake wore number 37 with the Steelers, played briefly for the Jaguars. I think he was still 37, but we'll try to pull up some photos on that. I sent the number 37 message to John Gaylor. We'll see if he responds back. He might be busy. Our contributor correspondent. Let me see. I think Gaylor might have hit me back already. Jabbar Muhammad, cornerback, Oregon, a rookie with the Jaguars. Okay. Jabbar Muhammad. I know little about him, but he's a cornerback from Oregon, a rookie. I think he's one of those undrafted rookie free agents. Cornell Lake was a guy that I think Tom Coughlin liked quite a bit when he was the coach and general manager of the Jaguars. And he played briefly with the Jaguars after really a great career with the Steelers. And I think he wore 37, and he did. I just found an old photo. He wore 37 with Pittsburgh. He wore number 37 briefly for the Jaguars very late in his career. We're going to talk about the Jaguars here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast, episode show number 37. Going to talk SEC football. You know, and one reason why I'm going to talk SEC football, Max hit me up. We're broadcasting in part by the MadMaxMix.weebly.com, Lake Eufaula Hits, where JC does live from the pub on Thursday nights, and Saucer Realty in Capital. And I don't know what's wrong with me. I got the purple shirt on today. I need to get the teal shirt on. But we got to shave. We're going to be shaving sometime in the next 24 hours. We're going to have to shave off some of this beard we've got going. The coffee is good. Oh, the old coffee boy came through. Coffee is good. I've been seeing reports online where coffee's supposed to add years to your life. Is that true? Well, we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Jaguars SEC football. Alex Nunnery, our Big J Report sports reporter, is also doing some videos on this same channel, the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Our exact channel is the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. Alex did a report over the weekend concerning the Florida Steelers, who play actually in the 8-man semi-pro football league. It's a summer league, so it's just a few weeks during the summer. But there's guys, a lot of guys that play in that are probably guys that also play in the spring semi-pro football leagues. These are guys that play for the love of the game. They may have played high school football, college football, sandlot football, maybe only Pop Warner. It's amazing the guys that want to play and keep playing for the love of the game. Alex Nunnery will have a report on the Florida Steelers 8-man football team. They play on a 60-yard field, which is interesting because indoor football is a 50-yard field. 8-man outdoor football is actually a 60-yard field. So check with our channel. The best way to find all this content is simply subscribe, and then you'll find Alex reports, my reports, etc. on the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. Brought to you by the MadMaxMix.weebly.com. Check out Max's show on Wednesday nights. JC has a show the very next night on Thursday nights, live from the pub at LakeEufaulaHits.com. Great internet radio where it's absolutely all good. I did snooze the alarm a moment ago, so my alarm may go off. Don't let it shock you when you hear it. But I said don't let it shock you when you hear it. The little cell phone alarm goes off. But we're talking football, semi-pro football. Alex, again, will have reports on the Florida Steelers. 8-man semi-pro football played on an outdoor field. 8-man on an outdoor field, 60-yard field. And look for Alex Nunnery's Florida Steelers video. We'll have it up sometime today. So keep checking the channel. Best way to find this content is subscribe to our channel, then it always comes up for you. Also, you're required, well, maybe not required, but we would appreciate a thumbs up if you can do that. Talking about the Jaguars real quickly and SEC football, North Florida entertainment, that's what we do. Jaguars. We talked on the last podcast, episode show number 36, about where I thought the Jaguars really needed to show the most improvement. You like that music? We're going to snooze it. It's kind of our alarm when another 10 minutes goes by. I think it's a 10-minute snooze on the old cell phone alarm. We're wide awake. It is Sunday, July the 6th. The Jumbo Shrimp finally lost a game. Can you believe that? The Jumbo Shrimp lost to Charlotte at home. After the Jumbo Shrimp won the July 4th game, they lost the July 5th game. We'll go over the Jumbo Shrimp. Great baseball team. The Jumbo Shrimp are like 53-33 now. Before we talk about the Jaguars, let me hit the Jumbo Shrimp for just a minute. Rare loss at home, Charlotte Knights 7. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp 2, a final on Saturday, July the 5th of 2025. The Jumbo Shrimp now 53-33 on the AAA baseball season. They did win, JC, I did put a Steely Dan song up on our Twitter page, which is actually X, the X page, now X.com. Steely Dan, the Jack of Speed is up there. Weather report, North Florida, clear skies and a warm 73 degrees this morning. Early in the morning at 6:15 a.m. on Sunday morning, July the 6th. 2025. Looking ahead now, rain chance 40% in North Florida. Clear to partly cloudy with a 40% chance of rain and possible thunderstorms. High around 92, lows 73. Warm west-southwesterly breezes at about 3 to 7 miles per hour. Clear to partly cloudy, but we're also going to see increasing cloudiness over the next 24 hours. The July 4th game, we know the Shrimp lost on July the 5th at home against Charlotte, but on Fireworks Day on July the 4th on Independence Day, AAA baseball, the Jumbo Shrimp got good pitching and timely hitting by the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp on the 4th of July at home. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp 4, Charlotte Knights 0. The Shrimp were 53-32 at that moment, then they lost on July the 5th. What a great record, though. They're already playoff bound in AAA baseball. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp are now 53-33 on the AAA baseball season in 2025 after the rare loss at home to Charlotte, 7-2. Charlotte Knights 7, Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp 2, a final on Saturday, July the 5th of 2025. Make sure you check out Alex on the same channel. He'll be talking about it's a unique. I've been to these games. They're very unique. You get to watching the teams move it up and down the field, and then you got to remind yourself it's a 60-yard field. It's 8-man football, but outdoors, and it's a summer league, semi-pro football. I think it's the name of the league is new now over the league that we followed like the year before. So, Alex, I have the report on the same channel sometime within the next 24 hours. So please check it out. And it is absolutely good to have you tuned in. I think I finally stopped the music. I meant to stop the music earlier. So check Alex Nunnery out and his report on semi-pro football, 8-man football on the 60-yard field, featuring this go-around with a team called the Florida Steelers. So check Alex's, make sure you check Alex's video out on the same channel, the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. So we told you the Jumbo Shrimp are now 53-33, boiling hot all season. They just had a rare loss against Charlotte on actually July the 5th, but they won on July the 4th. Let's talk Jaguars football. And that's the main reason why we're here with the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I will tell you that last podcast we talked about the main three reasons, or the main three things I think the Jags need to improve on is 1, O-line, 2, D-line, and probably just as important as the ones I just mentioned, was Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback of the Jaguars, possessing the football and taking care of the football. When I talk about the Jaguars defensive backs, I'm talking about young guys, talented guys. You got Tyson Campbell's probably the best cornerback on the team, even though the Jags have signed some veteran cornerbacks and drafted some cornerbacks. Tyson Campbell signed a pretty good sizable contract about a year ago, so he's in the fold for a while. Tyson Campbell, when he's healthy, great cornerback, probably one of the top 10 cornerbacks in the National Football League. You've got some guys that were drafted in later rounds by the Jaguars. Buster Brown, Monteric Brown, and then the third-round guy out of Florida State is very, very good, too. Two really good players that you always see them around the football, especially the Jones kid out of Florida State that was a third-round pick last year by then general manager Trent Baalke. Now you've got a new general manager in James Gladstone, and he looks like he's had a pretty good draft, but you did not get the offensive lineman as early in the draft as you wanted, even though you got the Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year and Wyatt Millam out of West Virginia. So these are the keys, and Millam has got to be good enough. He's got to be good in training camp where he can win one of those guard jobs. He played guard and mainly tackle late in his career at West Virginia. And I really think that if Millam can win a guard job in training camp, that means he's good, maybe as good as projected or maybe better. That's what the hope is. Left tackle, we've talked about this ad nauseum. Left tackle Walker Little has got to play with his hair on fire. And a lot of these guys do, especially on defense. Defense, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I'm going to tell you the cornerbacks, defensive backs, safeties on this team play hard. That's what I have seen. So to make it where they're even more effective, the defensive line, that's critical. The defensive line has got to play with their hair on fire in 2025. Linebackers, I think we've got a couple of linebackers that play really hard. Then there's a couple of guys like Devin Lloyd-Muma that this might be their last year with the team. However, I know that Poisade Alakun, and I'm going to say Ventrell Miller, who was drafted by the Jaguars. He was hurt his first year, played really hard, and showed effort last year. I think he's going into his third year now. Ventrell Miller, I love his effort. Poisade Alakun has been one of the leading tacklers. Some years he has been the top tackler in the National Football League. I'm not worried about those two linebackers that give the effort. I'm not worried about our young defensive backs, cornerback, safeties. I'm worried more about the defensive line on defense, the offensive line on offense. Those are my issues. And Trevor Lawrence, a quarterback, staying healthy, and when he's playing, protecting the football. So that is really all I've got as far as the Jaguars go. When we talk about SEC football, man, it's the league I have followed since I was a little boy, going back to the early 1970s. And Mad Max City liked my SEC rundown, but, we didn't really talk ad nauseum or in great detail about anything. I did tell you that, I miss the old days. NIL is not my favorite thing, but it's here and it's going on. I did find a report, and there's reports out there, the 2025 college football season, it's still July the 6th as we record this. Texas Longhorns had a good quarterback last year. In fact, they had two good quarterbacks on the team. Their quarterback play was outstanding in 2024, and the Longhorns had a good defense in 2024 as well. I take a look at some of these various reports. There was one that kind of did interest me from a Sportsline expert handicapper, Jimmy Kaler. He's broken down some of the latest trends, and we're talking about wagering or playing on, some of these sites like DraftKings and what have you. But I'm going to say that this kind of surprised me a little bit as far as SEC. And what he's got for the SEC. Let me tell you, as far as the SEC teams go in 2025, this Kaler guy, what's his name, Jimmy Kaler, he has a pretty good record since like 2023, but here are Kaler's top 3 college football win total picks for SEC teams in 2025. And it's not Georgia, Florida. It's not Georgia or Florida. That could be a mistake on Kaler's part. But he's got Texas to win over 9.5, to get over 9.5 wins. He's got LSU to get over 8.5 wins. Alabama under 9.5 wins. Okay. Now, where does this leave Georgia, Florida? Well, Florida's gonna really go depending on the quarterback. If DJ Lagway's healthy and he can play, he could start 90% or more of the games, the Florida Gators are going to have a good year. The Florida Gators defense improved in 2024. I think it's going to be as good as last year and hopefully get better. But what you're seeing at Florida, you're starting to see some 4-star and 5-star wide receivers go to Florida because they want to play with DJ Lagway. The Georgia Bulldogs have retooled their roster. So how many teams can win the SEC? And that's what I'm looking at, wins and losses. How many, I'm not even going to think about this Kaler guy too much, but I would say Texas, LSU, Alabama, Georgia, and even Florida have a shot. Are those the 5 teams? What about Texas A&M? Auburn has been bad, but Hugh Freeze now moves into his 4th year. I'm expecting more out of Auburn. Did they get enough of the transfer portal? The Longhorns will enter the 2025 season ranked as one of the top teams in the country. And we'll have one of the most hyped quarterbacks in college football history under center in redshirt sophomore Arch Manning. Will the Texas defense be as good as last year in 2024? So these are the teams. And will the LSU coach, Brian Kelly, can he control his team? Look like the players, you ever heard the saying the inmates were controlling the asylum? It looked like that at times last year with LSU as Brian Kelly. Some of the players were barking back at Kelly during their losses last year. He may have lost control of that team for a brief time. Jumbo Shrimp looking good, although they had a rare loss at home on Saturday, July the 5th. Charlotte Knights 7, Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp 2. We've taken a look at SEC football. JC, I did post Steely Dan's Jack of Speed on our X feed, and hey, again, we've got a few hundred people that follow us on the X. We follow a few people as well. We appreciate everybody that tunes into our podcast, the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Clear skies and a warm 73 degrees earlier this morning at about 6:15 a.m. on Sunday morning, July the 6th of 2025. Rain chance about 40% in North Florida. Clear to partly cloudy with a 40% chance of rain and possible thunderstorms. High temperatures near 92. Lows at night near 73. Winds, warm west-southwesterly breezes at only about 3 to 7 miles per hour. That weather information comes to us from Big J Report on this Sunday, July the 6th of 2025. I want to thank Miss Donna for following us on Twitter, which is now known as the X. We got a few hundred followers, and thank you very, 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 very much. Major League Baseball has been interesting this year. The New York Mets have had a good year. There's countless other teams that are doing well. Our executive producer, JC, is Milwaukee Brewers are having a pretty good year, right? I'm not going to pull up the Major League Baseball standings, but I'm going to look at them a little bit later today when I get an opportunity. I play fantasy baseball, fantasy football, so we'll take a look at some of our teams here in the next hour or two as well. By the way, when I mentioned the fact that we're going to have clear to partly cloudy skies here in Duval, We're also going to see increasing cloudiness over the next 24 hours. There is at least about a 40% chance of rain and possible thunderstorms over, say, the next 24 to 48 hours here in North Florida. Let's take a look at some concerts in the area. JC made some stern words for me about talking about the concerts. We're trying to keep everything, if absolutely possible, we're trying to stay under 30 minutes. I've got this little alarm system that'll go off. Hey, on the website, JC, I needed to tell you, we've got the Fix, their concert schedule. I think they've only got like 14, 15 dates. I think they're primarily playing with UB40. I know in St. Augustine on August the 23rd in St. Augustine, Florida, the Fix show. It's actually UB40 with special guest, the Fix. But on our website at bigjreport.com, in the Neighbors 2 section, we've got the entire Fix schedule up there at least for the next probably few days. Take a look at some concerts, and the Fix will be, in North Florida, in St. Augustine, actually. Let's take a look at some shows that we have. Am I on the right page? The Neighbors 2 section at bigjreport.com. You can go there, too. By the way, we're brought to you by the madmaxmix.weebly.com. Great internet radio. Mad Max has a request show on Wednesday nights. He'll give you his phone number. You can text him or call him on Wednesday night, 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock Eastern Time with the Mad Max Mix.weebly.com. Mad Max playing your classic rock request, music, pop classics. And then the next night, Thursday night, LakeUfallahits.com, where JC does his show live from the pub starting at 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time with LakeUfallahits.com and JC's live from the pub show. Let's pull up some concerts. I got some concerts. Not that many. We're going to have to add some in there. As you know, Rick Springfield and I won my 80s tour featuring John Waite and Wang Chung and John Cafferty was held back on May the 29th of 2025 at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. A fellow radio guy known as Hal Jackson, and he's also a moderator on our Big J Report Facebook group. He went to the show, and man, he had kind words for Wang Chung, made a couple of videos of the show and put them up on YouTube, and it was a great show. Rick Springfield looks younger than 75. Wang Chung sounds great. So we got some really good reviews in on Wang Chung's performance and even Rick Springfield from the May 29th show at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. That was back on May the 29th, and that was a few weeks ago. Looking at shows coming up, coming soon, Brad Paisley will be in concert in St. Augustine, Florida on Saturday, August the 2nd of 2025 at 7:30 p.m. at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Here's a good one we mentioned a moment ago. Here's a good one, UB40 and the Fix. UB40 and the Fix. You know, the Fix did that song, Red Skies at Night. Red Skies at Night, oh. They did another song called Saved by Zero. The Jaguars were not saved by Calvin Ridley when he was wearing zero, but there is a song by the Fix called Saved by Zero. Would be a great theme song for a player wearing probably number 0. So UB40 and the Fix at the St. Augustine Amphitheater on Saturday night, August the 23rd of 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Tickets selling fast. UB40 is performing at the St. Augustine Theater on August the 23rd of 2025 with special guest The Fix. Another guy I've talked about when I was interviewed on Mad Max's show on Wednesday nights at madmaxmix.weebly.com. Max does a great show on Wednesday nights. Classic rock songs, music, pop classics from days gone by. Another great event. And, you know, Max was doing an interview with a young lady on his show, and she mentioned Steely Dan, too. She also mentioned TEAL, who I'm not really a big fan of, but every time I've heard their music, I liked them. I liked what I heard. But Steely Dan is big with me, and Max will play Steely Dan for me, ARS, and, you know, other requests, too. John Lennon. the late, great John Lennon. So we get our request in on the MadMaxMix.weebly.com on Wednesday nights and JC live from the pub on Thursday evenings. Max and JC do it a little bit differently. I think Max mainly gets text messages for his request or phone calls. JC has a chat box at LakeUfallahits.com. Great internet radio where it's all good. And Live from the Pub with JC is on Thursday nights, and we have links for the show at BigJReport.com. Max and I talked about Mickey Dolenz, and Max was telling me that, I saw a documentary, I think, on the Monkees a while back, and Mickey Dolenz was kind of like a child actor. Did he play a clown at one time? I think Max told me. But when he got into the Monkees, which was actually a music group made for TV, kind of the American version maybe of the Beatles, made for TV, a made-for-TV group. Mickey Dolenz has parlayed it into a lifetime career. He's 80 years old now. So as I mentioned, another great event, tickets. Hey, hey, we're the Monkees. You know the song, right? Also another great event, tickets for Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees. He's the final Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees. He's the final surviving and living monkey. He's the only one left of the four guys. Peter Tork has passed away. What was the other guy's name? The singer Davy Jones has passed on. Peter Tork has passed on, and Michael Naismith has passed on. Mickey Dolenz is the final living member of the Monkees. This is a great event, I believe, because this could be your last chance to see Mickey Dolenz. Tickets for Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees, Songs and Stories with Mickey Dolenz at the Florida Theater on December the 5th of 2025 are actually on sale now. Did our screen freeze? I think it may have. Okay, now I'm not seeing myself on the screen, but we're still rolling. So I don't know what happened, JC. I think I probably froze the screen. Something happened, but we're at about the tail end of the broadcast or the podcast. Anyway, this has been episode show number 37 of the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We saluted Carnell Lake and also a young player. I believe he's an undrafted free agent who will wear 37 for the Jaguars, and he's also a defensive back. We mentioned his name a little bit earlier. That is going to do it for the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Special thanks to our executive producer, JC, also Alex Nunnery, another producer. You can see Alex on the Florida Steelers video, which is on this channel too. So please do subscribe to our channel, if you would. It's Sunday morning, July the 6th of 2025. We talk about the Jaguars, SEC football, North Florida entertainment, and much, much more. Again, a special thanks to our executive producer, JC, also to another producer, Alex Nunnery. I want to thank John Gaylor, who is in our Fantasy Football League also. It's going to be a good one this year, the Teal Shirt Report Fantasy Football League. I think we're moving into like our third year in that league. This has been really the last year has been our first year on YouTube, but we've actually done this podcast, audio, and now YouTube, and still audio. But we've done this podcast actually for 6 years now, since 2020, since about mid-January of 2020 on audio. We've only been doing the YouTube for, several months now, probably almost a year or so. This has been episode show number 37 of the year 2025. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Special thanks to our sponsors, Salsa Realty and Capital, for your real estate needs in North Florida, whether it's home, residential, business, or commercial real estate. Go to our website at BigJReport.com, scroll the home page near the weather report for North Florida, and you'll find the link for Salsa Realty and Capital. Also, on our Neighbors 2 section, you'll find the link for MadMaxMix.weebly.com and JC's Live from the Pub show on Thursday nights at LakeUfallahits.com. That's going to do it for the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Man, we are absolutely under 30 minutes, JC. We are. Hey, you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Have a great day. Hey, give us a thumbs up. subscribe to the channel, and you'll get the content. Alex Nunnery, our sports reporter, is doing some semi-pro football stuff on 8-Man football. Check Alex out as well. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.